Every 4 years, the Forsyth County Tax Office adjusts the tax values of properties to reflect the current market values. 2009 is a revaluation year, and this time, the process is a little more complicated than usual, says Pete Rada, the Forsyth County Tax Assessor.
In conducting a revaluation, we're very concerned about sales in our local market. We're not interested in San Diego or other states or even other cities in the state of North Carolina. We're interested in Forsyth County sales. So we look at every sale that's recorded through the Register of Deeds, and we consider each one of them. Some sales we can't use. For example, a sale between a father and son may not be an arm's length transaction. But North Carolina law requires us to look at market value sales, and so that's what we search for. We look at the sales within the neighborhood of the subject properties. In fact, we've got the county divided into some 1,200 appraisal neighborhoods. So we start the process by looking at just those sales within that appraisal neighborhood. We try to look at the sales since the last revaluation. Since our last one was January 1, 2005, we'll look at 2005 sales all the way up through the end of 2008. We're particularly looking at the 2008 sales because we want to make sure that we recognize all forces in the marketplace, especially those that have been occurring over the last 12 months because of the economic situation the country's in right now.
But even though the real estate market may be off this year, Rada says it does not negate the 3 prior years when values rose.
Basically, we just kind of edged our way along during 2005, 2006, and 2007. Then in 2007, things slowed down. And we're starting to see some declines in some areas of the county, but not all. If you had to sum it up and say, what has happened in the Forsyth County market over the last 4 years? We increased in value the first 3 years of that period, and then we've kind of held our own during 2008. People are concerned that I'm going to use 2005 and 2006 sales as the primary basis of the revaluation. We have to consider those sales. But our job is to determine what the market value is as of January 1, 2009. So obviously the 2008 sales are going to have a great deal of influence on that decision.
And if you don't like the new tax value the county assigns to your property,
the first thing I would recommend is for the homeowners to take a look at our new web application. It's called Forsyth Residential Home Sales. All of our residential sales are shown on that website, and it compares the sale price to the 2005 value. So it's an easy site to use. I just recommend our taxpayers take a look at it and look at recent sales in their general area. Look at those sales, compare your new value to those sales, and decide for yourself if we're out of line. We're holding nothing back. It's all a public record. The sales are there. So that's the first step. And if the property owner feels that the value is incorrect, they can certainly appeal. We're attaching an appeal form to every revaluation notice to make it easy. I'd urge the taxpayers to complete that information, submit any information they think is reasonable to support their opinion of value. The taxpayer needs to tell us everything they can find that would support their position. Now filling out the form and just saying everybody knows real estate values have dropped 20% or whatever the number might be from the national media, frankly, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. That doesn't give us anything to work with. We've looked at the sales in the neighborhood and we think we have a good idea as to what the value should be. I've talked to a lot of folks, and there's some misconceptions in the community about how all of this works. The first thing I'd like to clear up is that no one on the 5th floor in the government center or the city council chambers or elected officials, no one calls me and says, Pete, we need the values to be X to support so much revenue. That's not the way the process works. We're very fortunate in that the tax office operates fairly independently of those kind of decisions. Our job is simply to go out and appraise the property as it exists on January 1, 2009. That's what we've done. The tax rate that will be developed by the local bodies will happen later on in the budget process. Budget needs are going to drive that. It won't be the tax values, even though the tax values are part of that equation.
If you have questions about your property revaluation, call the tax office at 703-2301.